welcome to The Path to Reason. I'm your host, Cine Plaza, and today we're having a very, very special episode. I'm joining Purple Rhymes with Orange's marathon shows, so we can provide friendly space for people who are alone on these festive times. So we're going to try and have some fun today. No talk about religion, not too much at least. No politics, nothing at all. Just some fun for this Christmas Day, this biggest con of all time. Thanks everyone for being here. Junior the Apostate, Ascalon. The Path to Reason, that's me. Native Atheist, Savage Minnow. Who else? Zoe Summers. Hi everyone. Nerdy Rodent. Wow, I have a lot of people today. It's very, very nice to see all here. If anyone wants to join me and have a chat about anything you would like to talk about, you have the link in the description. Just click it, and I will accept you on the live show. And other than that, I think Ascalon had a quiz to submit to me. So if that's still what you want to do, Ascalon, just send it to me and we'll do that. Unless you want to ask the questions, since you already know the answers, it's whatever you want. Before we start all this, let's talk about how it's going today. So it's 3 p.m. Here in Belgium, because yes, I live in Belgium. I'm French. I've been living in Belgium for... what about my accent? It's worse than yours, probably. I've been living in Belgium for 5 years. Today, the weather it's like very often in the winter in Belgium, it's very cloudy, very gray, but not too cold. Hi, the Crabby Hermit. How are you doing? Nice to have you all here today. But Ascalon, if you want just to send me the questions, then I can ask them. Whatever you want. So, yes, Zoe Summers, I was going to talk about this. The Webb telescope was launched earlier today, and I hope this will bring a lot of knowledge about how the world works, because we need a lot of that, especially recently, where we've seen a big surge in misinformation and disinformation. I think, and I hope it will be great for us, like everything we've done so far in space. We got a lot of knowledge from that, and I hope it will continue. So, first question, and you can answer in the chat. What time is it in your place today? What time is it now? So I can see where you are all living. Don't hesitate, type it in the chat. In the meantime, let's look at the news and see what we have today. So apparently Russia said they were stopping these military maneuvers at the Ukraine border, and that's a very, very good news. I hope it's not just words and it's a real information, because that was creating a lot of tension. East Coast time, yeah. So is everyone here alone today, or is it just a free time you have today and you will do something later in the afternoon? or later today. If you have plans today, just send a message and we'll talk about. So in East Coast, do you want to tell me what you're living, what town you're living in, the Krabby Hermit, or is it that is that a secret, or do you want to keep it alone except the dog, as always? I have a cat. She's just right here. Well, I have two. The other one is outside. 14 hours in the UK. Yeah, UK is 1 hour behind Belgium and France, because the UK is already behind everyone anyway. Yeah, what kind of dog do you have? The Krabby Hermit. What race is it? I've always wanted. Okay, Carolina. I've always wanted Bernese Mountain Dog. It's my goddaughter had one, and it was the best dog I've ever had as a friend, if you can call that this way. He was so adorable, so friendly with me, and even though sometimes he didn't see me for 5-6 months, every time he saw me, it was like he hadn't seen me in just one day. It was awesome. Unfortunately, he had some liver issues, and he passed away pretty young. He was 4, I think. And it broke my heart, because I love that dog. But yeah, if one day I have a big enough house, I will get one. So how far is the James Webb Telescope going? Let's look into it. So first of all, the mission of this telescope is to, one of the mission is to study atmospheres of exoplanets. Those are the planets that circle around their own star, roughly at the same distance as the Earth does. So, because we know that's roughly the distance where life can arise. So that's one of the missions this telescope has. It has a 6.5 meters mirror, which is more than double than Hubble, that was launched in 1990. It was 2.4 meters. So what else can we say? $10 billion and 3 decades to be developed. It's apparently the most ambitious space telescope ever built. It was sent from France, by the way, since Kourou is in the French Guiana. Let me just so it has a Wikipedia page, the telescope, and it's very precise, a lot of information. So it has a camera working in the infrared, spectroimager, in average infrared spectrograph, in close infrared, and another spectroimager, also close infrared. So basically it's going to study how the light changes of frequency around these exoplanets. So I'm going to give you the link to the page in the chat so you can have a look into it. So does anyone have any plans for this afternoon? I said Juni said they have no plan. Zoe Summers, no plan either. Is it all because of COVID, or is it just because of family issues, or just the current situation? So Ascalon sent me the quiz. So we're going to be able to stop playing a little bit. So yeah, I saw that. Thanks, thanks Ascalon for this. We're going to be able to have some fun and some laughs, hopefully. Again, if someone wants to join me in the chat, in the live, you have the link down below the description. Just click on it and I will accept you. So first question, so it's a Bible quiz. And first question is, according to Ezekiel, angels and so on have 4 faces, the feet of calves and wheels. Answer 2 are human-like with human feet and wings. Answer 3, sparkle like diamonds. And answer 4 are good except for one angel, which is the serpent or Lucifer, or as God named him. So, which answer do you think it is? I'm too different from my partner's side of the family. Mine doesn't care about COVID. Yes, yes, that's a major issue. Not too much the case here in Belgium. People tend to be a bit more reasonable, I would say. Yeah, hard to say with that question. There's no murder in it. I don't know if you have. Yeah, it's a lot of questions about angels, Ezekiel. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about angels and Ezekiel. I like to. It's difficult to find reasonable humans in North Carolina, so I tend to stay to myself. That's the crabby hermit. I get it. So I repeat the question. According to Ezekiel, angels have 4 faces, the feet of cows and wheels, or answer 2 are human-like with human feet and wings. Answer 3, sparkle like diamonds. And answer 4 are good except for one angel, which is the serpent or Lucifer, as God named him. Any answer? Anyone knows beside Ascalon, because he gave me the quiz, so he knows the answers already. Does anyone know? So while I'm waiting for your answers, I wanted to say that this last answer we have, angels are good except for one angel, which is the serpent, or Lucifer, as God named him. That hits one of the most important topic I think about when talking about Genesis. It's that whole idea that we are sinned, we are sinners, we are flawed because our grandparents did something bad. But so first, this idea that you are responsible for your elders' mistakes, I truly think that's a very, very damageable idea. Just in the same way that because one person is, I don't know, is very good, is like we've had in history, he was a good king, so his person is going to be a good king. That's stupid. But in the other way, in the other way around, blaming someone for the mistakes of their parents or grandparents that they don't even know, that's stupid. But more important than that, it's just that how can you say that Adam and Eve made a mistake when they didn't have the notion of what is a mistake, what is good and bad, because they didn't have knowledge of these things before eating the fruit. So how can you blame someone for doing something when they don't know it's a bad thing? It's like when you have a 1 or 2 year child, if they do something wrong, then you tell them not to, but then you explain them why it's wrong. You don't punish them in the first place if they don't know what they're doing wrong. And it's the same thing here. I think this first story shows that first, that this God is totally immoral, that he's jealous, and the only thing he wanted for us humans to be was some praying zombies. I mean, husks without any brain, and praying and praising him all day. I think that's what he wanted, because the very second that we changed from this path and got some very little bit of knowledge, then he started punishing us and forever. And that to me is just nonsense. So the answer is angels have 4 faces, the feet of cows, and wheels. So I'm trying to picture that in my mind, and it's pretty hard. I know that most of those stories are concretions of previous stories and legends and characters and mythological creatures, but still, I don't know how those characteristics can generate some adoration, and because angels are supposed to be pure, they're supposed to be good, and how this corresponds to the image of having 4 faces, the feet of cows, and wheels. Yeah, what kind of tire pressure do they need? And when they're flying, do they put the wheels inside, or how does it work? Pegasus pulling 4 archers. Yes, maybe. Maybe. Except, yeah, I don't know. The wheels thing is just very puzzling to me. Yeah, imagine the wind resistance on a pair of wheels. I think it's not just one pair here. But yeah, that's a pretty funny funny image we have here. Speaking of image, last year I worked with Atheist Edge. Shout out to his channel because he's a great guy. He provides a lot of very good content, and so he created a series of videos with a lot of people where we were talking about some passages of the Bible, and I talked about one that I find probably the funniest in the Bible is I think it's in Deuteronomy. So it says that if two men are fighting and the wife of guy number one is trying to help him and grabs the genitals of guy number two, then the woman must be punished very severely and have her hand cut. So again, the image is quite puzzling here, but the Bible is supposed to be the Word of God, and it's supposed to guide humanity forever, or at least until the rapture. So if an all-knowing entity were to write something like that, some kind of guide for all humanity, first of all, this guide would apply no matter the period. So we wouldn't have things that are allowed at some point and then no longer allowed, like slavery, like rape, like incest, or things like that. But commands should be broad enough to apply in all circumstances. But on the other side, it needs to be at some times pretty specific, because if you say do not kill, then am I allowed to kill in self-defense? Then yes, then that should be written somewhere. But this is extremely specific, this example of women grabbing genital to help her husband fight. That's very, very, very oddly specific, and that I don't see how this can be written by a god. It really seems like some guy bad experience and wanted to have revenge over a woman or her husband, and that's the funniest is that it got it stayed in the Bible and up to today. Yes, they do. They got the important rules in there, like synthetics, so no mixed fabrics, shellfish, treating women with respect might have been too much hassle to think about back then. Yes, but yeah, again, we have two choices. Either a God, an omniscient God, couldn't write it because those commands should apply and they're not written in the Bible, or a really omniscient guy and God wrote all this, and that's not what he wants. He doesn't want women to teach. He doesn't want gay people to exist. He doesn't want gay people to even marry and all that. So which one is it? I don't think we can have both. I think as much as I like all those churches that are tolerant, to me, that's hypocritical. Either your Bible is to you the Word of God, and then you have to apply it consistently, or it's not, and then you don't. But you can have both ways. Yes, had his nuts grabbed in a pub fight and wanted revenge. Yeah, that's pretty much the idea I had. So question 2. Ezekiel was describing the movement of angels are as and so one going forward like thunder, and so two going backwards like earthquakes, and so three hovering over the earth like wind, and so four going in all four directions without turning as they went. Yeah, I don't know who wrote this this quiz, but I never read this part, or I don't remember at least. To be honest, angels didn't strike me that much when I read the Bible at the time. The stories that struck me the most were Genesis, Lot and his two daughters, Sodom and Gomorrah, Noah's flood, of course, and all Moses' story. I think Moses is extremely overrated, because when you actually read the Bible, he's like an idiot. He can do anything, and every time something new appears, he asks God for advice. He cannot tie his shoes by himself, so that's why God puts his brother on his side, Aaron. But he's an idiot. He's just following what God wants, and he shows no intelligence, no nothing. So I don't understand how he's been over time shown as this great guy that delivers the Jews out of Egypt, because honestly he's just an idiot. So the answer is they're going in all four directions without turning as they went. So how does that work exactly? Well, first of all, it's extremely simplistic, because there are not just four directions, but without turning as they went. So just let me find some context for this. So English Standard Version, Ezekiel. Yeah, I need another version, because this one has ads. So the chapter talks about now it came about in the 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day of the month, while I was by the river Chebar, among those who had been made prisoners, blah, blah, blah. The word of the Lord came to me, Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, blah, blah, blah. And looking, I saw a storm wind coming out of the north, a great cloud with flames of fire coming after one another, and a bright light shining around about it, and in the heart of it was something colored like electrum. Yeah. And in the out of it were the forms of 4 living beings, and this was what they were like. They had the form of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one of them had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the undersides of their feet were like the feet of oxen. And they were shining like polished brass, and they had the hands of a man under the wings. The 4 of them had faces on their 4 sides. Again, 4 sides. They went without turning. Everyone went straight forward. As for the form of their faces, they had the face of a man, and the 4 of them had the faces of a lion on the right side, and the 4 of them had the face of an ox on the left side, and the face of an eagle, I guess, in the back. So basically, they're enhanced chimeras. Yeah, I don't know how you can read this and say, yeah, that's what I want to believe in. So question 3, Ezekiel said that the spirit of the angels was in the very being their whole self. Answer 1. Answer 2, in their wheels. Answer 3, in their wings, for God commanded it. And answer 4, in their hearts, where the word of God is. Hey, Magir. Nice to see you. So I repeat the question. Ezekiel said that the spirit of the angels was, answer 1, in the very being, their whole self. Answer 2, in their wheels. Answer 3, in their wings, for God commanded it. And answer 4, in their hearts, where the word of God is. So let's go back to the Bible and yes, there's something we didn't talk about earlier, but verse 18 says, and I saw that they had edges, still we're talking about the angels, and I saw that they had edges, and their edges, even on the 4, were full of eyes round about. So there are 4 faces, 1 eagle, 1 ox, 1 lion, 1 man. And on top of this, there are eyes everywhere, like probably on the body, probably not on the wings, because that would be crazy, right? Where is this? Wherever the spirit was to go, they went, and the wheels were lifted up by their side, for the spirit of the living beings was in the wheels. So that's the answer to the question. It's just getting crazier and crazier. I mean, so as humans, we tend to ascribe the sense of self to the head, because that's where ours is. But for angels, which are representatives of God pretty much everywhere, not only they have faces of different animals on top of the human one, but they also have wheels, and their spirit is in the wheels. I just, it's too much. It's it's. I know I usually hate when people call theists crazy, and that's not what I'm going to do here. But this very specific passage is crazy. Yes, Ascalan, that's a very good idea. I always keep my spirits in my wheels. I learned that during Prohibition. Oh, you were already born during the Prohibition. Yeah, that's interesting. So now I'm wondering, where does this idea that angels are just like men with wings and in white and with all this light, uh, where does this iconography comes from? Because the Bible clearly doesn't say that. Yeah. So question 4: when the angels moved, their wings sounded like three things. They were, and so on, like the sound of oceans, the sound of God Himself, the sound of tumult. So God is Poseidon, I guess. Yeah, most likely Dante and his comedy brought a lot of imagery down there, especially the different circles of hell that comes from there. Yeah. So and so on, like the sound of oceans, the sound of God Himself, a sound of tumult. And so two, like the sound of a million birds, like the sound of the Almighty, a sound of an army, like the sound of many waters, like the sound of the Almighty, a sound of an army, and like the sound of thunder, like the sound of a tumult, a sound of an earthquake. So it's funny because in those four answers we have the principle of the four elements we see very often, like air, and earth with the earthquake, thunder. We don't have fire, but we have water. So yeah, this thing about elements is. I never thought about it when reading the Bible, but I don't remember much about having this kind of link to these elements. I have to look into it. Yes, I wonder what kind of rooms the writer of Ezekiel was on. I would say the entire Bible, to be honest. But yeah. Which reminds me, there's a lot of people who made angels for the trees based on the Bible, which apparently has a bunch and eyes and multiple wings. Yeah, that would make sense. So the answer is answer 3, like the son of many waters, like the son of the Almighty, son of an army, which was just after the verses I was reading. And over the heads of the living beings, there was the form of an arch, looking like eyes stretched up over their heads on high. Under the arch, their wings were straight, one stretched out to another. Everyone had two wings covering their bodies on his side and two covering their bodies on that side. And when they went, the sound of their wings was like the sound of great waters to my ear, like the voice of the ruler of all, a sound like the rushing of an army. When they came to rest, they let down their wing. Yes, because when you're flying and you want to rest, obviously you let down your wings because you want to rest. Next question. Question 5. When God spoke to Ezekiel, God said to Ezekiel to open his mouth to receive. Answer A, the flesh of the babies of the rebellious Israelites. Answer 2, a cracker that symbolizes the flesh of God. Answer 3, a piece of paper or scroll. And answer 4, the flesh of oxen to strengthen Ezekiel for battle. Without reading, I would say it's answer 4. And no, it's a piece of paper or scroll. Yeah. Why? Let's see. Chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. And he said to me, Son of man, get up on your feet so that I may say words to you. And at his words, the Spirit came into me and put me on my feet, and his voice came to my ears. So basically, he didn't wake up himself. The Spirit, whatever that is, came into him and put him on his feet. And he said to me, Son of man, I am sending you to the children of Israel, to an uncontrolled nation which has gone against me. They and their fathers have been sinners against me, even to this very day. And the children are hard and stiff-hearted. I am sending you to them, and you are to say to them, these are the words of the Lord. And they, if they give ear to you, or if they do not give ear, will see that there has been a prophet among them. And you, son of man, because what other species would he be anyway? Have no fear of them or of their words, even if sharp thorns are around you and you are living among scorpions. Have no fear of their words, and do not overcome by their looks, for there are uncontrolled people. And remember, these uncontrolled people are his favorite people on the planet. And you are to give them my word, if they give ear to you, if they do not, for they are uncontrolled. Yeah, we got that. But you, son of man, give ear to what I say to you, and do not be uncontrolled like that. Uncontrolled people, let your mouth be open and take what I gave you. And looking, I saw a hand stretched out to me, and I saw the roll of a book in it. And he put it before me, and it had writing on the front and on the back. Words of grief and sorrow and trouble were recorded in it. So this omniscient God, he doesn't have any other way to communicate to his favorite people than to put a book in a guy's mouth and tell the guy, go talk to them and give them this book. So why the Bible? I mean, if God can do this to any man, he could have done this every generation since then, and we wouldn't have all these interpretation problems, right? Yeah, no flesh eating for once. Amazing. Yes, it is amazing. And no killing either, surprisingly. By the way, I've been listening to Herman Mehta, reading Exodus and now Leviticus. What a mess. All the instructions for sacrifices, obviously written by priests. Gay who gets the beef. Yes, that's what disgusts me the most, is the amount of killing made in the name or under the orders of this God. So I live in Europe, and in here we have, well, at least Western Europe, France, Belgium, religion has a very, very small influence here, almost none in some areas. So we don't have those people you have in the US, and especially those who say, if you don't have a God, how can you be good? And I discovered this argument when I started going online and talk to theists on a forum. And I still can't, and that started 11 years ago, I still can't wrap my head around this one, because how can you say, even if you take away all the absolute morality or whatever you want to call it, objective morality, subjective morality, if you take this question away, there's still the fact that this God orders millions of killings when he doesn't do it himself. So how can you be so convinced that this is the pinnacle of morality, and those who don't believe in this monster have none? I still don't understand this mentality. I still don't get it. Exactly, which is why I call bullshit on that morality, and the word is written in your heart. But of course, they blame it on sin blocking the knowledge of God. Yes, that's something I talked about on my show recently. There's a lot of victim blaming in Christianity. That way of thinking is ingrained very, very, very deep. Whether it's what we talked about earlier with Adam and Eve, it's their fault if they sinned, because even though they clearly didn't know what they were doing, it's still their fault, and it's our fault if they sin. And if you don't accept God in your heart, then it's your fault. Every single time there's this victim blaming mentality, and the fact that they don't realize, many theists don't realize how this is used by abusers. If you look at all those people who try to enforce their will on other people, one of the core tools they use is victim blaming. Look at what you made me do. Look at what happened to you. Look at, it's always make the victim itself the perpetrator, and invert the roles. Yes, a lot of victim blaming, particularly against women. Yes, of course. Yes, it's a very bad argument. So, question 6. For the sins of Israel, God punished Ezekiel by demanding he lie down and placed cords upon him so that he cannot turn from one side to the other. For how many days did Ezekiel have to do this? 3 days, and so on. 3 days for, that is the punishment for a sin as per Jesus. 12 days for each tribe of Israel. 7 days for, that is the prescribed time for cleanse impure things, and 430 days. Yes, a glass of red wine is probably a good idea, especially today. It's a celebration day. So I don't drink alcohol, and I never did. And when I came to Belgium, a lot of people told me, "Wow, you're French and you don't drink wine." And I said, no, I don't. And now that I live in Belgium, and when I meet French people, they tell me, "Wow, you live in Belgium and you don't drink Belgian beer," because Belgian beer has a very, very good reputation, and a very deserved reputation. And so that they say the same thing. "Wow, you live in Belgium, you don't drink beer." So I think that's pretty funny how people assume that it's like saying, "What, you're Russian and you don't drink vodka? But what's wrong with you?" It's funny. I won't fight you, Askaran, because I really don't care, because I don't drink beer. But I know a lot of Belgian people who would fight you for this title. Dean Crooker says, Christianity in a nutshell, you are so awful that you made God kill himself. Yes. That's basically what they say, and that's despicable. So question 6, the answer is 430 days. So again, the only way God had to talk to his own favorite people was to touch a guy on the ground for 430 days. Yes, that totally makes sense. The Crabby Hermit says, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me, what did you do to make him do that? I'd be very, very rich. Yes. Yes. And I don't know about you, but the most frustrating in this attitude is that they don't even realize how harmful it is. And you cannot tell them because otherwise they will just deny it. They will say, no, it's just that you just have to accept Jesus in your heart, or this kind of things. But if you tell them, no, look, this is abusive what you're doing, they just can't accept this idea because they are on the right side. They have God in their side. God is good. So if they act like God, then they obviously are good too. So they cannot be harmful to anyone. And that's very frustrating because how can you change someone's behavior if they don't accept it's wrong? Hi, Lavender Lady. Didn't see you here before. Today. I love beer. As a kidney patient, I'm not supposed to have it. Yes. Yeah. I hope you're getting better on this regard, because kidney is a bitch. If it's not working well, life gets very, very hard, very, very fast. Or you just woke up. What time is it over there? It's almost 4 p.m. here. I seem to remember that you're Central Daylight Time, Lavender Lady. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kilroy says, I drink vodka, gin, wine, and dark rum to known unhealthy portions. As long as you don't drive after that and you stay at home while you do it, then I guess it's up to you. We're shopping for a new kidney for Lavender. Oh, Eastern time. Okay. Yes, I wanted to talk about something. So for those who don't know, I'm in the process of potentially teaching critical thinking. I've been working on a course for almost 3 years. The course is ready now. And so what I bring to the table is a complete view of what we could call rational thinking. So not just critical thinking, but critical thinking and knowledge and everything that's contained inside critical thinking. So I read a lot. I even contacted 2 scientists in the field, and I learned a lot in this process. But so when you look at the literature about this, there are 2 main authors who try to define what is critical thinking. One of them is Robert Ennis, and the other one is Paul. I don't remember his first name. I don't know why, but I never remember it. And so one says that critical thinking is a set of attitudes and aptitudes. So basically, on one hand, it's mental postures, and on the other side, it's technical tools like Skepticism, for example, is a mental posture because it's something that your mind is in this state, and when you're receiving information, then this mental posture triggers the use of a tool to investigate whether the claim is true or not. And tools are science, logic, and all these things that we can use to investigate things. And Paul has a different vision about this. He says he includes emotions in this. And so far, I've been using the first vision because I think it's more, I wouldn't say accurate, but I don't know. To me, emotions are at the basis of our psyche. They are integrated in every single thought process we have. But I'm still struggling to say where they are compared to critical thinking, whether it's mental postures or tools. I think it's like a layer that those two things come on top. And the thing I want to talk about today is this. We know that truth is not equally important to everyone. Some people will seek truth no matter what, while others will be more selective with truth. And in the middle, you have all those people who sometimes will prefer a comforting lie to a disturbing truth. And so if you want to apply critical thinking, you cannot do it properly if you don't seek truth, because that's the end result you have when you apply critical thinking. So how do you incite people? How do you give them the emotional appeal to go and search for the truth when it's going to probably put them in a tough situation? When we if you listen to all the atheist shows there are right now, every time one of the hosts says we promote the teaching of critical thinking, it's because they say we know that when we think more critically, usually the outcome is better for ourselves or for the society. But that's just the overall view. For if you look at one person individually, it can be true that critical thinking can bring pain and misery for that person. So how can you give the emotional appeal to those people to learn and apply critical thinking? That's something I've been thinking about lately, and I still haven't found the solution. I guess if I do, I will go and collect my Nobel Prize. But yes, that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. Truth and kindness don't always hold hands. Finding the balance isn't easy. Yes, that I agree with. I'm not sure you always have to bring kindness, but it's usually more truth is usually more accepted when it comes with kindness. That's true. Some people seem to think truth is subjective, which is irritating, especially with things like flat Earth and gravity. Yes, yes, that's one of the biggest problems we have with humans sometimes, is that they don't understand that we share a common reality, and that what you have in your head is as valuable as what's in someone else's head, and as what's outside our head. So that's simply not true. You can build a kingdom in which you are king in your head, and that won't change anything in reality. However, this might be caused by our tendency to I forgot the word that's used in psychology, but when you suffer from harm, especially when you're a child, you will put your mind in a bubble so that the harm that comes to you is more easily managed. And so this isolation we tend to do when we are in danger. If we apply it too much, then it comes also into action when we don't like what we hear, and not just when we are physically or mentally harmed. And so that's what we need to be careful, because that's not the word I'm looking for. Compartmentalizing is another thing. Yes, I don't know if it's an S or a Z at the end, but I think it's an S. So yes, it's spelled correctly. Compartmentalizing is when you build walls between two or more things so that they don't get in conflict. For example, I have a friend who's a geologist, and he works with young Earth creationists. So imagine that. A geologist, young Earth creationist, or a young Earth creationist geologist. So the guy at work, he dates rocks which are millions and millions years old, but yet when he comes home, he says to his child that the Earth is 6,000 years old. So that's an example of compartmentalizing. He separates the two things and makes sure they don't come into contact, because if they do, then it creates a dissonance, which is called cognitive dissonance. Yes, oh dear. And so sometimes people mistake cognitive dissonance for compartmentalizing, but it's two different things. Compartmentalizing is having opposite things in your mind, but separating them so that they don't get into conflict. When they do get into conflict, and when this conflict causes you harm or discomfort, at least, then that's when it's called cognitive dissonance. It's like you can be a trans person but not suffer from gender dysphoria. And in this case, there are people like this, and they just live their life as normally as possible. Hi, Kyle. Good to see you. And it's only when there's gender dysphoria that people tend to go through a transition. And it's the same thing here. Dissonance, dysphoria, they're basically the same thing. So, yeah, I talked a lot. Let's keep on going with the Bible quiz. Question 7. God took mercy on Ezekiel for the suffering God put Ezekiel through for the sins of other people, and said that he could use what to prepare his bread with. So answer 1 is yeast. Answer 2 is cow's dung instead of human dung. Answer 3, olive oil as olive branches symbolize a peace offering. And answer 4, barley flour. So again, we have this idea we talked about earlier about making someone pay for someone else's crime. It's a recurring idea in the Bible. So the answer is the answer to cow's dung instead of human dung. So just let me check something, because I'm not entirely sure of the meaning of the word dung, and I don't want to say stupid things. Oh, that's what, what I was thinking. Yes. So you make bread with shit, basically. So I'm going to start punishing you to then for 430 days. Then I decide that, yeah, I'm done punishing you, so I will free you and then help you do bread with shit and have you eat it. Yeah, it's I have no words. Yeah, Non-Stamp Collector did a great video about Ezekiel and the dung. Yeah, I need to look into it. He basically punished Ezekiel for the wrongdoing of the whole city. He did pretty much the same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah, because they were supposed to be all sinners in there, so he killed all of them. He did the same thing with the flood, because supposedly all life, all human life were corrupted, which I don't believe to be true for a second. But then he killed all the animals and all plant lives in the same time. It's like God is not smart enough to not understand that hasty generalization is a fallacious argument or something. Yes, God is a 100% abusive partner in Ezekiel and in the entire Bible, I would say. Question 8. God wanted to slay every woman, man, and child, but spared some people, as per the following verse. Pass through the city, through Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and groan over all the abominations that are committed in it. What is this mark? The reverse of the mark of the beast, which is 999. X marked the spot. It was not a mark, but just the smear of blood. And it was not a mark, but just the smear of olive oil. That reminds me of the last episode of the freeing of the Jews from Egypt, where Israelites are supposed to mark all their homes with blood, so that God doesn't come in and kill the firstborns. Like God doesn't even know where his own favorite people are. So the Crabby Hermit says, gives new meaning to the phrase "eat it and die," so it's God's fault. Yeah. Yeah, God or Ezekiel, because I guess if you talk to atheists, they will always find a way to blame Ezekiel for that anyway, because God is good. So the answer to this question is X marks the spot. So I don't have the verse for this one. This was in the footnote. But let's say it's true. How could you go through an entire city like Jerusalem, which was relatively big at the time, and put a mark on the forehead of men? I mean, after you do that 2 or 3 times, then they would probably be stopping you. So doing that in an entire city, it's just. Sometimes I say that the biggest ideas of Christianity, like heaven, like Genesis, like the flood, to me they seem to be childish responses to questions. If you look at heaven, for example, it's exactly what a child would say if the first time they would learn what it is today, because it's very simplistic ideas. Everyone is happy. Everyone sees their loved ones. Everyone is happy forever. It's all these hyperbolic ideas, and they're not thought through, because this very second you start thinking about this, it breaks down. But it's all like, everyone is happy, just as if happiness was the only metric of what human wants. And then there you are with all your loved ones. What about if one of your loved ones doesn't like you? How does it work? What about animals? Are there animals in heaven? Who decides if they go or not? I mean, if I love a dog and then he bites someone, and that person raises charges, and then the dog has to be killed, I will want my dog to be with me in heaven, but the other people won't, because they will believe it's dangerous. It's all, to me, it's and I don't say this to be demeaning towards theists, because I'm not saying that theists are childish. I'm saying that the idea seems to be a childish response to some questions we don't have answers to. Anyway, question 9. We already answered this one. What were the 4 faces of the angels? A lion, an eagle, a human, and a cherub. A lion, an ox, a unicorn, and a cherub. A lion, an ox, an eagle, and a human. An ox, a goat, a sheep, and a cherub. What would be the funniest mix of animals we could have? Interesting question. What about insects? What if angels had insects' faces, like bees, flies, praying mantis, something like that? That would be funny. Question 10. Which of the following is a correct verse from Ezekiel? The time is not near to build bridges. The city is the rainbow, and we are the raindrops. The time is not near to build altars. The city is the offerings, and we are the meat. The time is not near to build sheds. The city is the feet of the Lord, and we are the sheep. And the time is not near to build houses. The city is a corn, and we are the meat. I have no idea. I don't remember this at all. And the answer is The last one, the time is not near to build houses. The city is the cauldron and we are meat. So Ezekiel chapter 11. So, and the wind lifted me up, took me to the east doorway of the Lord's house, looking to the east. And at the door I saw 25 men, and among them I saw Jezaniah the son of Azur and Pelatiah the son of Benaiah, rulers of the people. Then he said to me, Son of man, these are the men who are designing evil, who are teaching evil ways to his town, who say this is not the time for building houses, this time is the cooking pot and we are the flesh. For this cause to be the prophet against them, be a prophet, O son of man. So basically, I can't correct them, so go ahead and kill them, as usual. Ascaron says, I'd rather have dogs than humans. Look up on YouTube dogs in swimming pools. You'll see why. So let's look into it. Dogs. Swimming pool. Oh, okay. I get it. Yeah, well, humans pee in pools and dogs poop in it, so I guess we're even. Yes, they're having a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of time to get them inside for the first time. Okay, so we're done with the quiz. Again, if any, yes, dogs are so much more awesome than gods. Yes, I totally agree with that. Let me try and get my cat. I'm not sure she will. She will agree to come. When I just said the word cat, she woke up. So just give me a second. So this is Nala. She's about 2 years old. I also have an older one, Simba, who is 3 years old, and they get along pretty good together. Simba tends to go outside most of the day, while Nala, she tends to stay inside, let's say 65% of the day. She goes outside and then she comes back. And I would say the percentage goes higher during the winter. Same for Simba. He used to sleep outside during the summer, but in the winter he comes back in the evening. And it's quite amazing to see how they can be both so opposite in their behavior and character. Simba is scared of everything, and I mean literally everything. If I do that, he will be scared and run away. No one in the neighborhood has been able to to approach him. And we've been living here for 3 years now, so he knows everyone, but he won't let anyone approach. While Nala, she looks at them for a few minutes and then she goes and asks to be pet. So she doesn't care. Even the way they ask me to be pet, Simba usually sits right by my side and puts his belly up, while Nala comes right on my lap. It's when people say that we are so much smaller than animals, I think that shows a really misunderstanding and ignorance of so many things. First, of how animals are, how they behave, how they evolved, and also we tend to overestimate ourselves a lot, because when people say that we are very smart, look, we went on the moon. Yes, only a very tiny percentage of human beings worked to get a few guys on the moon, while most of them wouldn't understand how they did it. It's funny because we tend to evaluate ourselves and compare ourselves to the smartest of humans, but then we evaluate animals based on the most stupid ones. It always puzzled me. Also, there's this quote, I already mentioned it in a couple of my shows. It says, I think it's from Einstein, but I'm not sure. It says, if you test a fish based on his ability to climb ladders, he will spend his entire life thinking it's stupid, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And that's exactly also one of the reasons why we think we are so smart and why we think animals are less smart than us. It's because we measure our own intelligence based on our own metrics, and we evaluate animals on those same metrics, and that's unfair for a starter, but it's also stupid, because if you look at it the other way, for example, how many species on the planet destroy their environment to the point that they cannot live in it? None. We are the only one species stupid enough to do that. We're also the only one who evolved to the point that where we change our environment instead of adapting to it. So when we lose control of this change, then we are clueless. We don't know what to do. So yeah, I think we need to be much more humble when we talk about this, because we are not as smart as we think we are. And I think this overestimation is also one of the reasons why we don't want to solve some of the biggest problems, because we think that we're smart enough to overcome them. And I don't think we are. If we talk about climate change, for example, I don't think we are smart enough to overcome that as a species yet, and maybe we won't ever. So yeah. Ascalan says, is that the one that was yelling at you on your stream 2 weeks ago? No, that was Simba. Um, so in the last few weeks, he's been coming in and out during the day. And sometimes when he comes in, if I if I don't wait long enough, then I start doing something else, and then he wants to go out again. So, yeah, that was Simba. The Krabby Hermit asks if I didn't have my lucky dog, I'd forget to eat for real. I understand that because I have integrated my cats to my daily routine. For example, in the morning, first thing I do when I wake up is feed them. Then, if I need to go, I go to the toilet. Then I clean myself and do everything after I fed them. And since they're cats, I don't have to do this for the rest of the day. So I'm not in this case where if I forget to, if I don't have them, I forget to eat. But those are more sticky, I would say. They're more present, so I can understand how this can happen. Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. Ascaron says climate change is a good example. I don't think we are smart enough either. Yeah, I think there's an global intelligence problem and probably also an emotional problem. Our evolution taught us to be wary of close dangers, not long-term ones, and we only react to close dangers, and climate change is not close enough for most people. Does anyone want to come with me and have a chat? I forgot to talk about it during the show. It's been already 1 hour and a half. If anyone wants to come, you have the link in the description. Other than that, what can we talk about? Does anyone have a question or a topic you would like to talk about? Don't hesitate. Hi, Consider This. Nice to see you here. Yes, I might have an opportunity early in January or February to make a conference about critical thinking in a university in Belgium. I had some kind of audience to be tested this week, and I failed to be there, unfortunately. So this will be postponed to early January, but that's very, very exciting to me because if it happens, that will be awesome. Me doing a conference in a university. I left home when I was 16. I joined the army right there. All my studies were technical. I'm an IT technician. So I didn't have any teaching in critical thinking or anything like this. I learned all this in the last 11 years, and apparently I did a pretty good job learning all this because I'm now in a position where I might be able to teach it, and that's awesome. I think it's we tend to say that we tend to be limited in our societies in what we can do, but there are dozens and dozens examples like me of people who start learning once they're already adults, and we still can do good things walking on that path. So yeah, let it be. I'm not saying I'm an example, but use my history as an example to incite people to keep learning. That's very, very important. And we all need to keep learning. School is just learning the basics. Did you decide on Professor Mistress Cindy or Mistress Professor yet? We need to know. I haven't decided yet. I'm still thinking. I don't know. I think it's both are mouthful, so I don't know. We'll see. So let's see again what we have in the news. If there's something interesting we can talk about. $5,600 flights canceled because of COVID during Christmas weekend. That's a lot. There was an eruption in La Palma, Spanish island, and it's officially over. Apparently there's no casualty, but it lasts 85 days and 18 hours. So that's pretty long. What else? So apparently Biden has been insulted during a phone call on Christmas. Yeah. Apparently some Swedish people put together an implant with the COVID pass instead of a smartphone, I guess. I don't know. Everyone has a smartphone right now. Why would you want an implant instead of a smartphone? Yeah, sure. If you shorten the former to PM, it makes you sound like a prime minister. Yeah, I like the idea. But it might be a little bit presumptuous. I don't know. Krabby Hermit says, I admire your language abilities. Thank you. I tried to learn French when I was a child, but the only language I mastered were programming languages. French is harder for English people than English is to French people. So I wouldn't be too much worried about this because French is very hard to learn while English is very easy. French has a lot of exceptions in all the rules. It's a nightmare to learn. So what programming languages do you know? I know only one. It's Java. It's the only one I learned when I was in school, and I used it just a little bit for I don't know 6 months. I'm so old. I still speak assembly language. Yeah, I still think we need people who know this. I can't get my head around programming languages. I need sounds. And I'm told French is easier than English, but I said that bullshit. Yes, it is bullshit. English is much, 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 much easier than French. Oh boy, all the gendering is built into French, and that must suck big time. So recently there's been some uproar against a new pronoun because we don't really have a gender neutral pronoun like it in English or they. So some people try to, well, it's been created a few years ago, but it came into one of the dictionaries this year. So, conservatives were not happy. When I tried to learn French, my German came back. Yeah, that's understandable. The list is over 60 and it's boring. Programming languages, yeah, I got that. French has 2 genders, German has 3. Take that gender critical. French, I think, rather difficult, but then I'm Dutch, so German and English are much easier to learn. Yeah, because Dutch is a mix of German and English. And for a French person to learn, to try to learn Dutch, it's hard because it's like the language took the worst of English and the worst of German and try to make it a language. It's I learned German when I was at school for 1 year. I really didn't like it. The way it sounds, I found it was relatively easy to learn because I was also learning Latin at the time, and so the declinations are the same. Same principle. So yeah, I didn't think it was too difficult, but the sound of German is just awful. And now I'm in Belgium, and I should learn Dutch, and I tried a little bit, but it sounds even worse than German to me. Dutch is German with a hangover. Yes, I concur. French I found rather difficult, but then I'm Dutch, so German and English are much easier to learn. I'm also fluent in C, C++, Fortran, and Python. Nice. Yes, there's this meme that you may have seen about how it sounds in English, then in German, then in Russian, and it's bigger and bigger beasts every time. I don't know if you see what I mean. It's yeah. The problem with German is apart from the sound, is the fact that they compound words. So in English it happens too, but it's usually I think it's even never more than 2 words. So it's much easier to understand. But in German, you can have several words put together, and it makes it sometimes unreadable. Yeah, it's German tough love. Yeah, I know about that. Yes, it's again it's sound harsh. You know, if you listen to people talking in Arabic languages, you have the same, I would say, harshness, but it's more maybe a little more musical. It's like German is the purpose of the language is just to carry meaning, and that's the raw purpose of it, and that's just how it is. It's like you don't transfer emotion, you don't transfer anything else than just the words. Yeah, Spanish is pleasing and flowing language. It's also extremely simple to learn because it's you have very little exceptions. You read all the letters. It's very simple. Italian is more singing and it's more very little bit harder than Spanish, but not much. But yes, Spanish is the problem with Spanish people is that they talk very fast, and that's what makes it hard to listen to. But it is a nice language to hear. Spanish would have served me better, but at least with French, I wasn't left clueless during my Club Med days. Oh yes. Never been to a Club Med. I don't know how it is. Yes, what the Lavender Lady says, it's yes, it's you combine words, and the combination of the words, you also combine the meanings to obtain what you want to talk about. Yeah. Yes, learning the Italian words is far easier than learning the hand gestures. Yes, yes, because the gestures are the same for, well, words convey meaning and gestures convey emotion. So, and both are not always in synchronization. So, yes, I understand it can be very hard. Yes, Ascan, I like the Matrix quote. Swearing in French is like wiping your arse with silk. Yes, yes. It I don't know. Maybe it's because I speak French, and so that's how I feel because of this. But it feels like more insults feel are more fluid. They can just go over and over. As the actor, I forgot his name, says in The Matrix. Yeah, it's like you can swear for 10 minutes nonstop. Yeah, I will not try to read this last comment, McGear. I'm sorry. And the curse I know in that language will make you them blush. Yeah. Yes, that's actually an idea I had, Ascalon. If anyone is interested here, I would like to make an episode on my show about expressions. Talk about expressions in English and French, and try to compare them, because sometimes it can be very funny. So that's something I would love to do. And if someone is interested, please send a message, and we'll put that together. Because yeah, what do you mean? Oh yes, yeah, you might break something. Yes, yeah, I probably will. Amazing. I know some excellent Scottish expressions I can teach you. Yes, I would love that. If I'm able to to say them, yeah, I would love that. Is it in Scottish or Irish that there's this city name that's 52 letters long? I don't remember. I need to check now. And the one I was thinking about is not even the, the longest one, because the longest one is in New Zealand. So let me share this. Yes, Ascalan, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, it's a train station. I thought it was a name of a city. I saw this in one of the first school books in English I had. There was a picture of this with the name below. I don't know why it stuck in my head. But yeah, that's the name I shared in the chat. That's the longest city name in the world, and it's in New Zealand. Speaking of New Zealand, I read an article about a year ago about a movie that's they said was the greatest new movie in New Zealand. It was from the 70s. I think it was remastered recently. And I bought it, and it was it's a movie about revenge. The story during the time where there was some colonization in New Zealand, and it was quite something. I would advise to watch it. I need to find the title. I think it was Utu or something like that. Yes. Well, actually, it was 4 years ago that it came out in a movie. So it's the name is very simple. It's Utu. So if you have the opportunity, go watch this movie. Came out in '83, remastered in 2017, and it's pretty good. Actually, the main actor of this movie never acted before, if I remember correctly, and he's quite good in this role. So yeah, have a look at it. Yesterday, I finished watching the first season of The Wheel of Time. I don't know what you think about it, but it's it has some good side and some not so good sides, I would say. I like the universe. I never read the books, but I like the building of the universe. The actors, on the other hand, I understand the reason why they took only young ones, but yeah, they're not so much believable in their roles. Yeah, that's what I hear. For fans of the book, the series isn't great. That's what I've been hearing. Although it's only the first season, so maybe it's going to get better. I remember Games of Thrones also had a lot of criticisms in the past after the first season. So let's see how it goes. I still think that the first season of Game of Thrones was better at the time than the first season of The Wheels of Time is now, if I remember correctly. I'm not a big fan of Games of Thrones. I watched it entirely and I liked it, but I'm not sure I will watch it again. Morin and Lan are very, very good. I agree. But yeah, the other ones, they're not that good. They're too young, and I don't know. I was going to say I'd never been south of the equator, but I have to remember I did go to the Philippines and Tahiti. I should have just kept going. Yeah, I've never been outside Europe so far. I was supposed to go to I think it was Tahiti, but I missed the trip because of. So I was in the army from 1996 to 2015, and in 2009 we finished building a very big software, and so the recompense was to go in France's islands and install it there, so that we make sure it's well used, and at the same time had some trip as a reward. And so first time I was going to I think it was Martinique, but then I had to cancel because a few days before I was offered the opportunity to go to NATO for 3 years. And so I was booked to go to I don't remember where it was. But anyway, I was supposed to go there, but a few days prior to that, a one-day conference was booked for everyone that was going to NATO, because it was the first time in 40, 50 years that French people were going to NATO, and we had to go there, so I couldn't go. So I missed 2 trips because of that, but I don't regret it because the NATO mission was amazing. I only found French very easy because I knew Spanish, so now I can get by understanding a bit of Italian. Yeah, 3 of them are pretty close. Tahiti was the trip where I got a really bad ear infection, but I loved it. Seriously, did. They don't like us much there any longer. I have yet to travel outside the city. I've been to Martinique twice. The second time I was there for 3 weeks, and people started asking if I worked there. I go back in a heartbeat if I were rich. If you were rich, yes, because life is very, very expensive there, even compared to France. Did I mention I loved diving? Yes, Martinique is very good for that. Guadeloupe as well. So yeah, I can imagine you had a really good time over there. So I realize we've been here for 2 hours. So I'm going to see if the Raging Atheist is ready. So the show hasn't started yet, so we'll still be here for a few minutes. So first of all, thank you all of you for being here. It was good fun. I had a lovely time here. I met some of you who never came here, and I'm glad you were here. Thank you all. If you want to know more about me, you know where to find me. Like, subscribe, click the bell, everything. And if you feel lonely during this time, please reach out to someone. I know people tend to be with family during these times, and it's sometimes hard to reach out because you think that you're going to bother them, that they don't want to have negative thoughts in this period. But still try to reach out to someone. We shouldn't be ashamed to say that we are lonely, even though we still are. Yes, we shouldn't be ashamed. We should be able to reach out sometimes, not always. Sometimes we like being alone. Sometimes we need to be alone. Sometimes we have to be alone. But sometimes we are a social species and we need to be around people. Even if it's just to talk, just to have company like we did today. So please reach out to someone if you really need someone. If you have a very, very big or dark depression, please don't hesitate to contact the suicide helpline in your country. And I hope you will all have a great rest of the day and the week and the holidays, because it's still Saturday and I will be on leave until the 2nd of January. So I took a big nap in between some two. No worries. Yes, that's a good idea. Take some nap, take some time, some rest. And thanks everyone for being here, and see you next time. Happy holidays.